All right, time for happy hour with my best friends, best broadcaster friends at least. I don't know about my best friends. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
I feel like we have to introduce ourselves.
Are we
with
best
our mask
friends?
on.
Are we best friends?
For the
Did we
next
just-
30 minutes.
Did we just become best friends?
Hey, but we look good in our mask. Plumber, your mask is coming, but
It's all
you can at least
pre-planned.
start drinking. Yeah, you can at least start drinking. You're the smart one here.
Or something else.
Hey, no, but I like our masks. You know why I like our masks? Because they're unique. They're all different, which is really cool. So if you haven't picked up a mask, you can go on astros.com/together because these are for a great cause, actually, $15. 15 big ones, but it all goes to Astros Foundation and, of course, their COVID-19 efforts that they're doing right now. But everyone looks good on it. I wanted to get started in our mask, but I mean, I can't see your faces, so I want to see your faces. And I know you guys want to start drinking, so we don't
Big
have to wear them all the
reveal.
time. But I do.
Sparky and his Banky. I knew it.
But yeah, you can buy masks and they'll ship them directly to you, and the t-shirts as well. So astros.com/together. What's going on, everyone? What's new? Robert?
What's going on with you, Julia?
Dream.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
no
It's not about us.
One of
Do you
us
have
is
a
pregnant. I think
pacifier?
people can guess.
Does Sparky have a pacifier?
Oh,
Man, there's so many things right now that I'm holding back.
Mommy.
Where did
Man,
you
oh
even?
man. This is like the ultimate test.
Is that a
Great.
ring
Okay,
pop?
yeah.
Let's talk about names.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay,
man.
let's just dive
No,
right in.
why? I want to know why you have a pacifier still. What your oldest
Yeah.
is not even. See, your oldest hasn't had a baby, and your youngest is in college.
TK, stop asking questions.
It's where I stash my
You don't want to
Budweiser.
know some of these things.
This is where I stash Budweiser.
Man, you haven't seen him sleeping on the planes with that in his mouth? Come on.
Hey, I got my Budweiser beer sock. Yes.
There it is.
That's good.
All right, so Julia, congratulations.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
The due date.
Thank you.
Yes.
What's it
You
say?
announced
End of-
it yesterday.
End of September. Yeah,
And Matt Nearest,
it's
tell
out.
Matt congratulations.
Thank you. I will. Matt and I are thrilled. I feel free. I don't know if y'all have had to keep a secret, and especially when it's good news, but it's hard to keep a good secret, like a good
Did
news
you keep
secret.
Did you keep the secret from Matt?
No, Matt's
He
been
knew.
in on the secret.
He knew.
We were pretty excited, and I had a great weekend. I went and spent it with my mom for Mother's Day, and then we decided to let it rip and just see how everyone would respond. And I was just taken aback. I mean, everybody's been so nice. Apparently, people love pregnant women. That is just what I'm learning here.
Big Blubber
it's just
does.
great. They love babies. They love the idea of babies. I know that, but I'm just it's been really cool. So really cool to have the guys in on it too. TK, Blummer, and my little video. Thank you guys for helping reveal the big secret, but also just the people that participated. It meant a lot. And then all the messages. I'm still going through messages. So we have a really good fan base. I know you guys know that. It's just like one big family, and we're missing those people. We're missing the fans, right?
Without
Absolutely.
a doubt. Without a doubt. And, hopefully we find out something soon here about, when we'll get back to work, which would be kind of nice because I think while all of us are enjoying time with our families that we normally wouldn't have this time of year, and none of us have had it for a very long time. And we all kind of are looking forward to getting back into the rhythms of the season. And hopefully we can do that when it's safe to do so. And hopefully that's soon.
Julia, the last time I heard you say I feel free, and it's a totally different context, was when we were in Oakland and you were coming out of the left field bullpen area as Wally Fingers. And you said, I feel free. And I said, now it's a totally different thing. But when you said that, that's how crazy the trigger is. I said, oh my gosh, Julia, last time I heard her say that, she was wearing a 50-pound big head in Oakland.
Yeah, I was Eck. I remember, I remember feeling it's very similar. That feeling is very similar, as if you were to just be let out of the gate in left field. And
so being pregnant is like being in one of the mascot costumes.
Being released.
Is what you're saying.
Just like it. Just like it.
I mean, I haven't done either. So, I mean, I'm just going on your experience here.
What's happening right now? No, that's a very similar feeling. I just like that everyone knows. It's just a good, yeah. It's a
So
good
how did you break it to Mama and Papa Morales? I mean, that had to be pretty exciting.
They're so excited. I think she even posted, there's a good Facebook group, Astros Nation, I think it is, but she even went on there yesterday and she wanted to share her own post, with everyone. And she put the picture where my parents have made jerseys with our last name on it, with Morales on the back. And she posted that picture that she loves so much because they surprised me with those jerseys last year. I don't know if y'all remember that. So they're so ready. I mean, Christmas time to have a little one, my mom's gonna just blow it out.
Were they surprised, or were they kind of like, yeah, we knew it was
we've been talking about starting a family for a while, so they've just waiting to get excited. Waiting for the news.
And it'll be their first grandchild, right?
Yeah, they're pretty stoked. I cannot wait. So they've already talked about how they're going to help with next season, and I'm like, we got to get through this season, Mom and Dad, and but it's great. It's great. Mother's Day had a whole new meaning for our family, which was cool.
Yeah, I know when my daughter was born, Father's Day, my daughter was born in June, and Father's Day was like the next weekend, and it was so weird because people were like, Happy Father's Day. And I'm like, who are you talking to? Oh, wait, yeah, that's right. That's me. I've been a father for a week. So yeah, it is kind of weird that first time, Mother's Day, Father's Day actually like means something for you personally, as opposed to thinking of the other moms and dads in your life.
Yeah. How was everyone's week and weekend? I know we talked to a lot of you guys last week. Anything new? Did we start any new hobbies?
Hit a wall.
Mother's Day. Mother's Day.
Yep.
Yep. Good Mother's Day.
I had a triplets birthday last Sunday, and then this Sunday was Mother's Day. So I'm kind of burned out on the holidays and women.
So how does a triplet birthday work, Plumber? Like, are there 3 cakes? Like, how does this work?
So my wife will wake them up at 7:45 because they were born at 7:57, 58, 59.
Wow.
And each minute somebody gets a happy birthday, and it's interesting. But we were actually having the conversation, talking to them about it, going, do you ever really wish that you had your own birthday? And each one of them to a person said yes. so we're now at 15 years old, and I think moving forward maybe we need to give them equal attention. But they're 3 separate people, but they really work well as a unit. They understand the situation and how unique it is. So they kind of love it and have as much fun as they can with it. And I'm just kind of curious to see if they're all going to get their own cars, which I don't think they're going to do.
Speaking of cars, you guys got the drive-by celebration?
Yeah, dude, it's funny you say that, because we were I picked up the girls from playing volleyball the sand courts down the street, and all these cars went by. I go, what the heck is going on? And they go, Dad, it's a drive-by. And I went, what? And I go, man, back in my day when they said drive-by, we hit the dirt.
Yeah, that wasn't good news.
Now they're holding up signs to say happy birthday. But yeah, we did the new millennial drive-by, and it was pretty cool to see all the kids line up and drive by the house. It was pretty cool.
They're making the most of it. People are getting really creative. I'm impressed.
I am too. I don't know how they do it, but the girls, and I hope most kids out there are trying to make the best of it. But I think that they are so technologically advanced, and they already FaceTime everybody that this is just a long weekend. But I think I'm having a harder time acclimating to the whole situation than they are. And I think TK, you just mention you kind of hit a wall. I think I'm at that barrier also, kind of staring over the edge, going, man, what can we do now?
We've grilled everything possible to grill. We've cleaned everything possible to clean. We have watched almost everything on Netflix. So yeah, we're hitting a wall. I shouldn't say that. We still have some things to catch up on Netflix, but we're ready for something new.
Put on your mask and come over, TK, because we got plenty to do.
Yeah, I think
I'm so bad. I'm using a fidget spinner now.
Wow, it's bad.
Whoa! Welcome to 2017.
Dude,
this is what it's come to.
Is that the giveaway one? Didn't the
Yeah.
Astros have a giveaway one?
Somebody made a GIF of me and TK doing that in the booth one day, man. It was pretty sweet.
Mhm.
No, I'm just hoping something, I don't know what we're going to find out, but I just want to find out something. So at least we have like a target. And then I can kind of backdate it from there and say, all right, I need to do this by this month or this by this week. But yeah, right now it's being in limbo. I'm ready for being out of limbo.
Yeah, just to have like a finish line.
And it's fun to get excited about them talking right now, that there's starting to become some plans, so we can maybe start making some plans. And we're not sure where we'll broadcast. We're not sure if there's going to be fans there, and we don't know what's going to be negotiated. But we're going to be a part of it somehow, and we can't wait.
Sparky, where were you playing in 2001?
In Detroit.
Okay, so
For
all four of us, actually, Julia, I don't think you were in the business yet in 2001. You might have been, what, in high school?
Mhm. Yep.
So the interesting thing is that, where were you, Sparky, when this whole thing went down? And then we'll kind of go around a little bit, because that's really the only work stoppage I've ever dealt with. I didn't play in 94. I got drafted in 94 when the strike happened. But, I mean, it was pretty smooth sailing until September 11th of 2001, when we actually had to stop because of the events that happened in New York.
Yeah, this one might make more sense because there's going to be expanded rosters this time around, I would imagine. That's part of the negotiations. But in 1995, when they resumed play after the strike, they kept a couple of extra pitchers so they could kind of ease the starting pitchers into action and not stretch them out too quickly, too fast, too far. All of those things. So I would imagine it's going to take a few extra players on everybody's roster right now. My thing that I was thinking about, what's going to happen to all of the minor leaguers this year? Are they going to have just 40-man players this year stay ready? What's going to happen to all the other minor leaguers?
Yeah, I wonder if that'll depend too on what happens with like the different spring training sites, whether teams are able to go back to their spring training sites, because even if there isn't necessarily, traditional minor league baseball and minor league baseball seasons, if those guys are able to, play inter-squad games or play against other teams that are near their complex, then maybe that, I mean, it's obviously not the same. I mean, I think we all know that, but at least it gives them a chance to work on some things, because I mean, all you guys know, like a missed year of development, I mean, that's huge, especially when you're thinking about, some of the guys that you're hoping are going to be able to help your big league team in the next year, 2 years, 3 years.
What do you guys think about the draft and all that came out? And, I know a lot of people had immediate reactions. I'm not even sure if it'll stay that way, depending on how things will go, but what was your first reaction to it?
I think there are going to be a lot of kids who, if you're a high school senior, you're more likely to go to school, even if it's a junior college, and then you can get drafted next year, because it'll be 20 rounds starting next year, the draft, which is shorter than what it had been at 40 rounds. But yeah, I think if you're a high school senior, you're more likely to go to junior college or maybe even to a 4-year school. If you're a college junior, you're more likely to come back for your senior year. And I'd have to think, for some of these college coaches, that's going to create some issues, because you kind of go into your recruiting class assuming that certain guys are going to get drafted after their junior year, and now you have to figure out how you're going to juggle the freshmen who you maybe promised some playing time to with the seniors that are coming back that you weren't expecting to come back. But I mean, I'm not too crazy about the draft being 5 rounds, to be honest with you. I don't think that's enough. I know they're contracting the minor leagues, or at least that's what they're talking about. But I think it certainly changes a lot of things when a draft is, goes from 40 rounds 1 year to 5 rounds the next year.
I just feel for the guys that are going to have dreams broken or expectations of dreams broken. That's going to be the hardest thing for me. I know that the contraction of the minor leagues, we've all seen guys, I think about, Piazza being Mr. Irrelevant, last guy in the, 68th round or whatever it was. And then I think about Tyler White, who we saw here with the Astros, being a 33rd round pick. There are some diamonds in the rough, and some of these guys just don't blossom or figure it out until they're 25, 26 years old. And if they're not getting that opportunity to even try and figure it out, that's where I get kind of frustrated. But, given the situation we're in now, I know that they have to make some adjustments. I'm just kind of curious how it's going to be moving forward, because you're right. It starts at the collegiate level, the high school level, where these guys have to make some life decisions, I guess, and whether or not to chase a dream, which I think every guy should have the opportunity to do.
But there could be diamonds in the rough found, as free agents too, right?
Right. That's a good point.
And there's going to be a lot of players out there who have been scouted, and they do a lot of this scouting by the numbers anyway. They've had cameras on these players from showcases for the last 2 or 3 years. So you might take chances with those $20,000, markers you can have. Is it unlimited? I mean, you can sign as many of these players as you want to fill up some minor league teams.
Yeah, it's going to be unlimited, which will help.
Just think of the trickle down effect. I mean, even we talk so much about the majors and the minors, and then to really think about colleges. And so if these kids do stay, and what opportunities that might have been there that won't be there if a guy stays, and then that goes to just keeps going. And I know that's worldwide. That's across every industry right now. It's just that's the stuff that really kind of opens your eyes and takes me back. Sometimes it's hard to sit and think about this too much. I try to just distract myself as much as possible, because you start to think of just how many people this whole pandemic will affect now and by the time it's done.
There's got to be something, though, at the end of the baseball season, if it's only, like you guys said, a compact number of players on the Major League roster. There's got to be something for the whole rest of your organization, whether it's, Gulf Coast League or just scrimmages down to your spring training site in the fall, something so that these guys don't lose a complete year.
Has to be.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
I think
so key. I mean, I haven't heard. I don't know if you guys have heard, but they have to do something for these kids, right? I mean, organizationally, like you're saying, TK, you can't lose these guys for a year.
And then you have to make decisions, which guys you're going to protect, and if they haven't played, it's going to be this whole landscape's changing by the minute and by the day. But hopefully, the minor league guy, it's going to be tough. I do think there was talk about minor league teams contracting, and I think this is going to go a long way towards making that happen, unfortunately. But it's a whole different world right now, and when we come out of this, hopefully, eventually we'll see some fans, but I don't think that's going to be the case for at least the beginning for sure.
Yeah, it's going to take a little while. People talk about, things getting back to normal. And I mean, I certainly think there's going to be a new normal after all of this, whether it's baseball or society in general. But I mean, when you think about it from a baseball standpoint, I mean, when is baseball going to feel quote unquote normal again, or the way it did before the pandemic? I don't think it'll be 2021. It may not even be 2022. I think the effects and the after effects of all this, we could be feeling for, another 3, 4, 5 years, depending on, what happens and, whether there's a vaccine in a reasonable amount of time, for instance, and things like that. I mean, there's just so many different dominoes that are going to fall, and things that we probably haven't even really thought about yet, that really won't even really pop to the surface until maybe another couple of years from now.
What do you think it was like for those players who came back from World War II? What was it like for the first year or two, those guys coming back? And Bob Feller, we hear about Ted Williams just jumping right back into action and being their old selves. But the game had to have suffered for a little while, didn't it?
You would think so. I mean, a lot of those guys, they were helped by the fact, because I know Ted Williams, I think Bob Feller too, they had teams like, teams, an Army team or a Navy team and things like that. So they got to play a little bit. But yeah, I mean, obviously you go, and Bob Feller, I mean, he was in some key missions when he was in the military. So I mean, obviously that had to have affected the game to a certain extent, you would think. And I always think about the 1944 St. Louis Browns. St. Louis Browns were always bad. That was the only year they made the World Series. And the reason that they even were competitive was because they had 18 guys who were declared unfit for military service. Because I actually met a scout years ago who played on that team. And so, he's like, whenever people would tell him, oh, great, you played in the World Series. Yeah, he's like, yeah, because we had 18 guys who weren't fit to be in the military. That's the only reason why. But yeah, it definitely had to have an impact back then.
Yeah,
Blubber, that would have been us.
Players.
That would have been us.
Yeah, we would have been banished to Misfit Island.
Robert, you missed it last week. Sparky showed us his bootleg bobblehead that some fan made for him that he gave to his son for Christmas. And it was a former Roger Clemens bobblehead, and it was like painted with like she sanded out the line, painted it all over, and it became a Sparks bobblehead. And in that same little happy hour we had, Sparks said he'd rather have his life than Michael Jordan's.
I don't want your life over Michael Jordan's for you.
Yeah, I would hate to have my own golf course.
Have six rings. That would be awful.
Oh my gosh.
So Julia, are you thinking of names at this point?
We should be, because that's what everyone asks us, right? I mean, that's our first question.
Right, that's the
What
follow-up.
are you
That's the
gonna
automatic follow-up, right?
Right.
I'm like, oh gosh, I'm supposed to know already. No, I've actually, the more I talk to people, it sounds like people are kind of all over the map of when they come up with a name, unless you've got maybe a family name or something, but we're open. So you guys just throw some ideas my way.
JJ.
We'll figure it out together.
JJ.
We'll just
Julia Jr.
Yes.
I say Jordan.
If Sparks had more kids, that would definitely be the name of his next kid, boy or girl. Would be
girl. Yeah, Jordan.
I was watching a replay the other day where we actually pronounced his name Jordan before he got called up. Remember there was that debate whether it was Jordan.
Yes.
He
That
changed
went
it
on
4
for
times.
too long. Yeah.
So
How about
you could be
We
like,
would ask him.
you could be, was it Elon Musk? They had that name that like nobody for their kid that nobody can pronounce. I mean, maybe you could.
No.
I mean, maybe you could go that way. It could be like the the Sigma sign or something. I don't know. we clearly have terrible ideas, is what we're saying.
Well, we've got some time, so let's think. Let's put our heads together and come up with something.
I've got
Something
We've exhausted every girl name we know.
Yeah.
Hey, we talk about all these people that we didn't really recognize before when we're talking about grocery store workers and of course healthcare providers on the front line and all that. I've got a new one that I would like to talk about, and I kind of wish I may have gone into this field, but it's the sign language guy. You notice this guy?
Oh, for the press conference.
Yes.
Sign language guy is all over the place.
He's the
My
best.
favorite are the ones
How come he
who.
wasn't wearing a mask?
So they can read
Well,
the lips.
So you
Yeah,
got
you
his
gotta be able to
lips.
see his face. You gotta see his face. There's lots of expressions and read his lips. Yeah.
I don't know.
Man, those guys can really get animated from time to time.
Those are my favorite of the ones who get really like they're just going they're going furious. I'm not even going to try to attempt to imitate sign language because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm good. That's my sign language.
Don't do it.
But yeah, like when they're when they're going, and it almost feels like they're taking the mood of the speaker. So whoever the politician or whomever is speaking, like when they start to get really animated, really into it, then it's like, man, hands are just flying, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. It's like it's like I kind of know what they're doing, but not really. But it's amazing to watch.
I saw one guy break a sweat.
Hey, on our Zoom right now, do you see 3 at the top row and then 2 at the bottom row and a blank spot below that? Like, do you see 2 rows of 3?
No, I just have everybody at the top.
Okay, because there's a perfect spot on my screen where we could bring this guy in and he could kind of.
That's what we need next.
He could he could sign our little happy hour.
Does Bolte know sign language? What's Bolte doing?
You know what it was.
You don't want to see his sign language.
Hey, we have plenty of time for Bolte to learn. We don't have anything else to do.
Are you
It's
standing
Bolte.
on your chair?
Oh my god.
That's his universal sign is, shh, don't tell anybody.
Okay, Dikembe.
Or we could do. Remember the old Saturday Night Live with Garrett Morris when it was for the hard of hearing, and basically all he would do was just shout whatever the person said.
That's right.
We could do that too.
Today's top story.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, anybody surprised about Michael Jordan right now?
No.
It's not
No.
Surprised?
he's not going to another level.
I mean,
None of it.
no. I mean, he's kind of. I mean, it was interesting to see him get emotional talking about how passionate he was about winning. in the, you know, in the last couple episodes they showed. But the stuff like about his dad, obviously, I mean, I don't even remember at the time how emotional he was. And when he won in '96, when he won in '96, you know, the first time he'd won a championship and his dad wasn't there. You know, I do remember some of that. But yeah, you know, to me, the most interesting part of the Last Dance documentary is hearing everybody else and how they reacted to Jordan, whether it was his teammates, whether it was guys who played against him. And because I don't think that's a perspective we really got, at least not in this way. I mean, guys, you know, when they were playing against them, they didn't want to say anything to tick them off. Since, as we're, if you didn't know, we're learning that it didn't take much for Michael Jordan to feel like he was slighted and needed to right some wrong on the court. But I think now you're getting guys who are talking a lot more candidly about Michael Jordan. And to me, that's been the neatest thing about it, is to kind of hear what their real feelings are about playing with him or playing against him.
Along those lines, I wish I could hear from some of the hitters last year when they realized that Garrett Cole was ticked off.
Exactly.
Yep.
When you knew he was going to throw the ball as hard as he possibly could.
Yeah.
It was like you could see it, right? You could see it.
He was on a different planet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, Garrett Cole treated every hitter like Jordan treated Scott Burrell. Just abusing them.
You know what was interesting to me was one of his teammates, Will Perdue, said, you know, at the time, you know, looking back as a teammate, I really thought he was a jerk. But as time goes on, I look back and I think of him as a really good teammate because he all brought us to another level. I thought that was pretty cool that his perspective changed throughout the time.
I wonder who's going to say that about you when this is all done, Sparky.
You're bringing us to a new level, Sparky.
I was hoping for that at my eulogy. What?
And how about the stuff with Steve Kerr? How he and Jordan kind of got into it, and how like Kerr was like, and I mean sometimes, I think all of us have been in situations, or a lot of us anyway, have been in situations. Maybe it didn't result in punches being thrown, but we're like, you know, somebody maybe was kind of pushing you a little too far, and then you kind of gave it back to them, whether it was physical or not, and then there was kind of like a mutual respect there, and that seemed like that's what happened with Steve Kerr, and it seemed like Jordan kind of responded, and you know, like he was talking about, you mentioned Scott Burrell, and he was saying, you know, how he was trying to get Scott Burrell to fight him, like he wanted that, and if Scott Burrell maybe had thrown a punch at him, maybe Jordan would have backed off, but that never happened. Whereas Steve Kerr, you know, he got Kerr, you know, into it with him, and then after that, things were a lot better.
Last thing I'll say about that, you know, Ahmad Rashad was kind of in Michael Jordan's back pocket as his go-to interview person, right? Right. And they became best friends, and to this day, they live next door to each other in Jupiter, Florida. Ahmad Rashad shared a story recently, and he said that one time he just said he was in the driveway at Michael's house and said, "Hey, let's play one-on-one." He goes, "Man, I don't want to play one-on-one against you." He goes, "No, I want to see how I stack out. Let's play one-on-one." He said, "No, I don't want to do this." And keep in mind, Ahmad Rashad was a 4-time Pro Bowler in the NFL. I mean, he's a really good athlete. He said finally he goaded Michael into playing him one-on-one. He said not only did Michael not let him shoot or score, he didn't let him dribble. He wouldn't even let him bounce the ball without taking it from him. That's how intense it got. And he said it lasted about 1 minute, and he said, "All right, I'm done."
Message received.
Yeah.
Hey, TK, you said you were hitting a wall. I think your new hobby should be gaming.
Really?
Like, yeah.
I used to love video games when I was younger, but then those were so obsolete by now. I don't think I can hang with it.
Dude, I heard you were awesome at Pong.
Pong! Oh
yeah. Who's doing the Zoom on a Commodore 64 right now, by the way? Anybody?
Wait, why do you mention gaming, Julia?
Because Alex, well, you guys know about gaming because the Astros do a lot of it in the clubhouse, but they're doing it for a good cause. Yay. No, Alex Bregman's been killing it when it comes to giving back to the community. Houston Food Bank, he's raised a ton of money, but he's starting a 24-hour live stream on Twitch I know you guys all know exactly what I'm talking about right now, but they're doing some gaming. So they're going to play Fortnite, I think Call of Duty. There's a certain Call of Duty. I'm not exactly sure which one, but it starts 8 a.m. So this would be May 12th and 24 hours. And he's going to have celebrities on, athletes on,
Really?
musicians, and they're going to do giveaways and contest in there, and all the proceeds are going to Houston Food Bank. So I mean, he's doing such a great job. But
He is.
that should be interesting. So you got to get on Twitch.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's an app on your phone.
I'm on it right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like,
Wait, I have a nervous twitch.
Yes, right. No, I mean, I don't know anything about this, but I do know that some people are extremely passionate about it, including a lot of Houston Astros players. Springer's supposed to make an appearance. Correa, obviously. McCullers, I'm sure, will be involved somehow. Those guys are. Reddick, he's a big gamer.
Hey,
I don't
what
think
are
I'm
all
telling
those
a
guys?
tale out of. I don't think I'm telling a tale out of school, but you guys know, being on the buses to the ballpark, people
Yeah.
aren't talking about anything else on most of those bus rides except for their previous night's Fortnite game.
Yeah.
Like they are that into it.
So
Like,
what
I
are those
should've
little
done this.
those mobile boxes? They're carrying their video games on the trips.
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of
Humor, isn't
glad
it?
that we
Kind of
didn't have all
clever.
this when I was their age, because I think I'd be one of those guys that would be up till 2 or 3 in the morning or 5 in the morning playing these games, because I would have been it's like competitive, and you're on a social network. These guys are way into it.
They're up until then anyway, right, Blummer?
Yeah.
Yeah, last time I hung out with him, yeah.
No, I'm saying, like, what time did you go to bed when you were playing?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, I was the same way. And you know what? It's kind of funny that, Robert brings up the Commodore 64, because I remember vividly 1998.
Hanging out with the
and
Commodores.
the Nintendo, huh?
Hanging out with the Commodores.
No, that's your generation, Sparky.
Yeah, seriously. You had the first 45. But we had a Nintendo 64, and it had that first time, that James Bond where you were the first person shooter, and it had 4 screens, kind of like what we're doing right now, and you kind of hunt each other out. Yeah. And we stayed up a long time doing stuff like that. So I can only imagine with the advanced technology that these guys have, where they're staying up doing that, but then they're connected with headsets, the microphones, the talking trash. I can only imagine what these guys are saying on there. But, to Julia's point, with everything Alex has done, it's amazing to me that they have the ability to continue to be creative and find ways to actually make this interactive for fans, but also make it beneficial to, a cause. That's what's amazing to me. And these guys are not afraid to put something in motion and make it happen. That's what's impressive to me.
Last week we talked about how his goal went from 1 to 2 million, and now it's 3 million. And he's going to get there.
Keep going.
He's going to
That's
get
Oh, yeah.
I think
he's
that's
gonna
the
pass
best
that.
part. That's the best part about social media, isn't it? I mean, to be able to infiltrate and get the message out. And I know all of you guys do a lot of charity out there and getting out there and doing a lot of cool things. But that's my favorite by far thing about social media.
I thought the swimsuit modeling you did was my favorite part of
It's not bad. I appreciate you saying that, but I have 5 pounds to lose. So don't judge.
Looking forward to the broadcast of the AL West calendar.
Pounds ago.
Okay. If you want
Are you
to help
picturing me right
Bregman
now,
get
Blummer?
on his-
Wait, hold on.
Trying to change the subject.
Yes,
Thank
I
you.
am.
Julia's already acting like the mom, trying to get us back on track here.
Hey, dude,
What's happening?
This is Julia on our broadcast, man. What are you talking about?
I know.
You
Okay,
heard it
back to
earlier.
the game.
Focus.
Back to the field. Yeah, no. So seriously, follow Alex Bregman. You can find it on social media, but you can get onto it and follow and just watch, but be interactive as well. And you can also text. It's feed Hugh. So feed HOU to 41444. I've got that written down. So you can do that as well. We've been playing these Astros Classic games on AT&T Sportsnet, and we're playing one right now where the Astros are in Seattle for a day game, and it's so beautiful, and it's just you guys know. Are y'all missing a certain road city?
Seattle
Or ballpark? Yeah.
Seattle's for me.
I know one guy. There's one guy that works at that stadium that's not missing us being there, and that's the visiting clubhouse guy that stands in the hallway because he because he looks like Michael McDonald, and every time we show up, Sparky sings to him.
Sailing.
Y'all
That's
are on a
Christopher
late bus.
Cross. No, I sing Doobie Brothers songs. Who doesn't like Doobie Brothers? And I
I
swear,
love him.
last year, for whatever reason, at that, what's that ballpark called now? T-Mobile?
T-Mobile
I
Park,
believe
yeah.
you knew who
They had
Christopher Cross
Doobie
was.
Brothers and somebody else. They had the Doobie Brothers concert poster in the concourse. So
Oh, that's right, because they had performed there.
I got him to stand next to that stupid picture and take a photo. He is classic. Another fun fact about James, the security guy, he washes his hair. It's really long. He washes his hair in beer.
Oh,
I
he told me
remember-
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, smell
What
it
a
next time.
waste.
Here's to James.
yes, to James.
What a
I
fool
miss him.
believes.
That's right.
I didn't know you sang to him, but y'all take a different bus.
Oh,
than
you
I
got
do.
you got to go in with Sparky one time because the guy he rolls his eyes from like 50 yards away. He
Yeah.
knows what's coming.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dave, our bus driver in Anaheim.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
You know
yeah,
what I'm
Dave.
talking about?
Mhm.
Yes.
He called me about 2 weeks ago.
Really?
He called me just out of the blue to see how I was doing. Dave, you know what I'm talking about?
I
Yes.
do.
My favorite bus driver is the one in Oakland or for San Francisco that
Yeah.
takes us to Oakland.
Yeah.
Such a nice guy.
Because we spend
I'm
the most
always-
time with that guy.
That's a long
An
trip.
hour.
We can
I
watch
have to
Forrest Gump
ask-
on that trip.
I have to ask Sparky in a lot of cities what our bus driver's name is because I have relationships with them. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. You see these people all the time. You know them, and you
and
talk
it's
to
too
them all
late
the
to
time.
ask.
It's way too late to ask. I'm year 8 with these people, and Sparky usually knows. I'm like, what?
Sparky knows their relatives.
Yes.
He has
says
meetings
that.
with them.
We get pretty in depth sometimes.
Hey, Steve, you got to tell the story about, I think, who was it, Mike Matheny, when you were coming up with him, and he would ask you umpires' names,
Oh yeah. So
and you would give him, yeah, go ahead.
nowadays, they post all the umpires' names in the dugout. But back when we were playing, a lot of times a catcher or a position player would be running out to the field, kind of in a panic at last second. And Matheny, who'd warmed up the starting pitcher, we were teammates with Milwaukee. He was in a hurry to get out to home plate to catch before a game started. Would ask, hey, what's this home plate umpire's name? So he could call him by his first name when he went out there. And I would invariably tell him the wrong name. So he would go out there and call some guy by the wrong name. And that guy would just wear him out. And I could just see him ducking his head like, I'm going to kill Sparks.
We kind of got off the beaten path. Julie was talking about how the replay was in Seattle. We are always asked about our favorite places on the road. For me, American League, Seattle, T-Mobile Park is number one. And Julia, what do you have on? I mean, Seattle's one of our favorites, right?
I'm missing Seattle. I'm missing San Francisco. Not so much Oakland.
The city of San Francisco.
But the Oakland people could not be nicer to you, right?
I miss Mean Gene and all our people. Should I have said that?
I love Gene.
Dropped a mean Gene. That's outstanding.
She knows we call her that, right? She knows we call her that. No,
Now she
everyone.
does
call her
Bruce
that.
Bay to every. Don't stop. I miss the people in Oakland, but I do miss. It's like that cool, crisp air in the middle of the summer. You know, I just getting off
Their
the
tunes
bus
at the stadium are awesome.
Yes, they play some of the best music.
That and the Astros just absolutely pound on the Mariners every time they go through there. So I mean, it adds to the joy that we have every time we go through there.
You know what? The Astros used to pound on the Mariners when they stunk.
Yeah.
The Astros were bad. They played well in Seattle. I think it's just
I
something
love
about,
Seattle.
you know, you're in the humidity in Houston. You go to Seattle, man. It feels so good that I think it gets you up for that series.
Yeah, and such a great city. But yeah, Seattle's definitely up there for me. You know, Julia mentioned San Francisco, Bay Area, love that. And New York too, you know, just in part for me because that's my hometown. And they also, Yankee Stadium has the best media dining in baseball, without a doubt. People always ask us about like the concessions at stadiums, and a lot of times we don't know that because we're at media dining and we're not roaming the concourses. But yeah, Yankee Stadium, Rice Krispie treats, cookies, the dessert selection's unbelievable.
Sure.
They always have quite a few entrees. Yeah, that's just another reason to enjoy going there.
I thought for sure you were going to say Cleveland.
So
or
you're not allowed to have
your
sex.
buddy in Chicago, Blummer,
Chicago.
Oh, man.
Chicago.
Dude,
in media
I
dining in
can't-
Chicago.
you know what's crazy is I don't even eat the immediate dining in Chicago. I'm scared to go in there because, I mean,
No second.
you've heard, I mean, this is right up Robert's alley because of the soup Nazi on Seinfeld. And then there's the first trip through Chicago as a media member, I go in and they have 2 proteins. And I said, wow, it's chicken and salmon. I go, man, chicken, I would love some chicken. I go, could I get salmon also? Dude, the guy goes, no. I went, do I have to pay extra? He's like, no. And I was like, moving on. All I got was chicken, dude. And that was the last time I ate there. Was the first day in there.
And mind you, Blummer he's got a statue in front of the stadium there in Guaranteed Rate Field. Yeah, right. Yeah, there it is in your background there. And Blummer came in seconds.
I've got my picture's like 15 feet to the left. And he's like,
There's only one stadium in the American League that I will not eat media dining.
Where's that?
Oakland.
Tampa, Oakland.
They don't have. Oh yeah, I forgot.
So
Do
the
they
food
even
trucks.
offer it? Yeah.
trucks.
Now food trucks are awesome, but they
Yeah.
do have
Yeah.
media dining right outside the elevator to the right on.
Well, they
That-
still are cash only, which is like, what are we doing?
so archaic.
2020.
Hey, so speaking of road trip, do you guys pack quarters when we go to Arlington?
Oh,
Oh, that's right. Because it's always like
is that?
$9.75 or $10.25.
Yeah.
And whenever
I
they
think
give
it's
me
11.
change in quarters, I'm always like, you're going to get these back over the course of this 3 or 4 game series.
So
I've already thought about this. I don't know if you guys have. Like, I know there's a possibility if we're doing broadcast this year that we might have to do games remotely instead of travel. I know that's a possibility, but I'm hoping somehow, some way, if we can all drive to Arlington, I want to see that new stadium this year,
Yeah.
even if
Oh,
we're just
absolutely.
one series.
They're starting to have graduations there in a couple of weeks. My cousin's a senior at Red Oak High Schools, which isn't far from there, and they're graduating on May 31st at Globe Life Field. She is
Really?
so excited.
Is that the,
Yeah.
that's the new one?
that'd be awesome.
Yeah. So I guess they can spread them out, and
Right.
I don't know how many people are actually allowed, but yeah.
I want to go to that
Baseball, yeah,
graduation now just to see the field.
That might be our only shot.
Yeah. Hey, congratulations to you guys. But I'm actually here. I'm walking around the concourse and the clubhouses.
They
do
said
wanna
center
see it.
field's pretty deep. I haven't seen it yet, but the original word is center field's kind of deep.
I
And then
walked
don't
around it.
don't all the dimensions are related to like the retired numbers. Like I think there's a nook that's like, like 434 feet, the deepest part of the field since 34 is retired for Nolan Ryan. Like they have stuff like that. I remember seeing that and I thought that was kind of a neat touch. And now, that gives it a little bit more character. So
That's
looking
pretty
forward
clever.
to seeing that. Yeah.
If we are heavy, centric in the West, whether it's our own division or if we include the National League as well, we're going to have a lot of late night shows this year, guys.
After
Oh,
dark.
boy.
After dark.
Ooh, boy.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that.
It's actually not as bad for like us because we're there and it's like 7 o'clock local time. But yeah, for the fans, that just makes it a lot tougher.
But I love our Astros After Dark shows. Like those are some of my favorite shows because the one day that I saw people respond to as much as any, and obviously the Verlander no-hitter, the 23-run game, all the great moments last year, but the one game that was completely off the rails that people responded to, and Sparky actually gets the assist on this because he's the one that told us it was National Joke Day. So we get out to Anaheim, and it's National Joke Day, and the game's going forever. It's like 1 a.m. East Central Time, 12:30. So we start doing National Joke Day. We asked people to send in their best jokes. That was one of my favorite broadcasts.
So you started to tell people's jokes?
I actually went on the air and said, all right, this might bother some people, but I said, if you have one of those ALEXAs, I'm going to ask Alexa for a joke.
This was beautifully done.
If you want to not bother anybody else in your house who might be asleep, turn your ALEXA off. And then I said, Alexa, tell me a joke. And I had people tweet in what their joke was.
That's
It
awesome.
blew up.
Oh my gosh! But everybody's Alexa in the background was blowing up because TK hollered at it. It was awesome.
Hey, how about this? My daughter's name is Alexa. Our thing goes off every day 5 times.
Oh no.
Oh, check that one off your list, Julia.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't name her
Yeah,
Alexa
no
or
Siri,
Siri,
no Alexa, no
Siri.
Google.
Yeah, definitely not Google. That's a bad idea.
Okay.
Google Morales is out.
Okay.
By then the speaker will be
Sharpie.
Claude or Clementine.
By the way, I'm really surprised Sparky knew it was National Joke Day, for the record, that day.
True.
I came up with a couple.
Oh, you had him in your wheelhouse.
Did you make that up, or was it really National Joke Day? It wouldn't have
I don't
surprised
remember.
me if.
Was it Joke Day?
What?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
yeah. Because remember, I don't trust anything Steve says, so I didn't
Right.
look it up to make sure. Yeah,
I do
That makes two
lie.
of us.
I do lie on occasion.
You lied to your son about your bobblehead.
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
Still.
You know what he did? And I just noticed this about 25 minutes ago. Because of that bobblehead crack, he put a picture of Pee Wee Herman behind me.
Come
Oh,
on.
I thought that was you.
Is that Pee Wee
oh,
Herman?
TK's got to put the readers on.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
man.
Yes.
Is that Pee Wee?
Paul Rubens.
Paul Rubens. That's my son.
There's no basement in the Alamo, guys.
How did
There's
Pee Wee
no
Herman
basement
make
in the
this?
Alamo.
Pee-wee's on Cameo.
What?
Of course he is. Of course he is.
I just happened to be looking at something on, I don't know, and he was one of the top people, or he was a new.
Is that
A
who you
new
used to tell your
celebrity.
parents that you were pregnant? Was you did a cameo with Pee Wee Herman? Was that what happened? Please say yes.
I loved
I don't care what the
Pee-wee
truth
Herman
is.
when I
Just
was
say
little.
yes.
I loved Pee-wee's Playhouse when I was little. That definitely is going to show my age, but I thought it was hilarious when I saw him. And then he was being Pee-wee in his cameos. I was crying. I was laughing so hard. Why are we talking about Pee-wee?
Because, all right, so earlier we were talking about how nobody knows about Twitch. Julia, I know your family is awesome with their holiday dance videos. You guys have to do this on TikTok going forward, right? Like somebody in your family has to
Ooh.
be on TikTok.
I know. I gotta figure out TikTok. I'm on TikTok. I'm watching TikToks, but I haven't created a TikTok because there's a little editing involved. But yeah, I've got to get Dad on TikTok. He can do it because the
Your
dances
dad's
aren't very
flip run,
long.
bro.
Your dad's a superstar in dancing.
Sparky.
Yeah. I'll work
Yeah.
on that.
Sparky.
Yeah.
Who are you talking to on your flip phone?
It's-
Is that one of those
Nothing, I
new
was-
flip phones?
I was
Or is that
asking. I was asking about TikTok.
Axon?
I was asking about TikTok. Yeah, my daughter. Do you know, Blummer? You've had to have done this a million times. The dance stuff. Did they get you to do that?
The dance? Oh, the
TikTok.
girls? Yeah. No,
They did?
we actually have one
Are
of
you
my,
on
my brother-in-law.
TikTok?
Oh, yeah.
What?
You kidding me?
You're doing TikTok?
I've done a couple. They're not very good,
I have
but
not seen these.
you'd have to follow. I don't know if my daughters have public accounts, which they better not. I hope they're listening. But yeah, there's. I think there could be a handful of TikToks out there where I'm participating. Yes. Yeah.
This needs to find its way up to a TV broadcast, an Astros TV broadcast at some point.
Well, I mean, all these after darks, we may have to do a broadcast of TikTok.
There you go.
Yep.
My daughters are too shy, so I don't have to worry about it.
Wonder where they got
Yeah.
that from.
Yeah.
Too shy?
Too shy.
Too shy. Hush, hush.
Oh my God.
Somebody's
Julie
showing
has no
somebody's
idea
showing
what
their
that
age
is.
right now.
Yeah. I'll be right back. I'm going to go to this 80s party I got to get to.
Do we need to call it a night?
Wrap it up. Good, perfect time. As soon
Did
as
you-
Blummer
yeah.
starts singing, as Blummer starts singing Kaja Goo Goo, we're done.
Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fat lady has sung.
Oh, I thought
And-
no, this
and
is just the
that's that.
beginning. This is where we go, what's that?
What's up?
What's that?
Yes. All right.
We're going out the way we came in.
All right.
We're out.
Protect yourselves out there, everybody.
Congrats,
week.
Julia.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Listen to
Julia's
Bregman
the
on
MVP.
Twitch. Listen to
Yeah.
or watch Bregman on Twitch tomorrow.
There you go. Get your mask, $15.
I hope they
Peace
can
out.
edit this.
See you guys.
All right. Bye.